Hello, welcome to Generation Gab. My name's Chase and I'm just popping in to say hi before the episode begins. This week, John and I have a very special guest. His name is Sam Sokolow, and if you don't know, he's a 2-time Emmy-nominated producer for the show Genius on PBS. And if you don't know about it, you will know about the show by the end of this podcast. It's super fascinating. He's amazing. At the end of the show, we also do a rapid fire question trivia type situation to find out if he leans toward Gen X or millennial preferences. So enjoy the show. If you'd like to support it, of course, head over to patreon.com/generationgab and you'll even find the video. That's what I was trying to say. Okay, enjoy.
Okay, this is called the Generation Gap.
My generation, baby.
Hi, everybody, and welcome to Generation Gab. My name is John Lear, and I'm a Gen X fun dad.
And my name's Chase O'Donnell, and I'm a millennial, semi-recent grad, and wow, so happy to be here, huh?
And, you know, me too, Chase. This is always the highlight of my week, is being on air with you, because I love you deeply and dearly. You're a wonderful, wonderful person. And now, what's so great is I get to introduce you to another person who I love deeply and dearly, Sam Sokolow. Welcome to the show, Sam.
What's up? How you guys doing?
Wow.
Now, Sam,
what a treat.
Yes. Now, Sam is, and Chase, I know I sent you a bio on Sam, and Sam is an extremely successful producer. And how many nominees has
2-time Emmy nominated?
3-time.
Two.
2-time. Well, it's about to be 3 because I just saw I saw the promo for your latest show. They just started promoting it, and it's amazing.
Is it Genius?
Yes,
I know. Thankfully,
the new season.
It is. It is the new season of Genius. We're doing Aretha Franklin. Cynthia Erivo is playing Aretha Franklin. And Susan Laurie Parks, a Pulitzer Prize winning writer, is a showrunner and writing. Anthony Hemingway, just a brilliant director, directed the pilot and about half the episodes. I mean, it's just an A-list. Courtney B. Vance as Aretha's dad. I mean, it is just a world-class talent. As always, thankfully, happens on our show, thanks to the combined efforts of Fox Studios and NatGeo and Imagine Entertainment, Ron Howard and Brian Grazer. I mean, it's a really amazing group of people that it's always such a pleasure and honor to be working with them and bringing these really great stories to life in this cool limited series format.
So obviously,
and we're so honored to be talking to you, involved with all that. That's unbelievable. Very, very, just thrilled you're here.
And I fortunately,
right when everything goes TikTok, I'm doing like good old period piece dramas. It's like.
But they're huge. Everybody loves them, and the promo looks amazing. I just saw it. Oh, yeah. It looks incredible.
Yeah, well, Aretha, I think, is the perfect, not only subject to do this show about, because she's obviously globally ubiquitous. One name, Aretha, the same as with our previous seasons, Einstein or Picasso, you know exactly who it is. But very, very few people know her story, and it is a really unexpected and deep and kind of incredible tale with all the ups and downs that you would imagine of a remarkable life. But it's really, I think, going to be something that people talk about and that audiences are surprised with, while still being entertained and kind of go on the ride.
This show is about generations, and Chase is a millennial. I'm a Gen Xer. You're a Gen Xer.
I am a Gen Xer.
Yes. And I think from the Gen X point of view, I was introduced to Aretha through the Blues Brothers. When I saw the Blues Brothers movies, that was my first sort of experience with, as a kid in Kansas, that was my first experience with sort of the soul R&B blues scene. And I remember that song, "You Had a Thing," blew me away. I was just like, who is this? It's incredible.
The whole scene. I mean, the whole, it's like, I have it etched in my memory. I grew up in New York City, and my parents were, incredibly cool, progressive, Upper West Side, Manhattan parents, both from Brooklyn.
And your mom is a very successful, still is a very successful executive. I've met her. Yep. She worked at Sony forever.
Still in a deal at Sony, still making television. She's my consigliere. She's my idol. She's my mentor. But I come by producing natural and always in New York. So moving out to LA was a real big deal for me to kind of come out here and start doing it here. But my mom is a real quick story, because I always got to tip my hat to her. And I don't know, Chase, you'll know more about how, maybe not that there's a blueprint, but how certain parents deal with their kids right now. And a lot of the rules have changed or evolved. But when I got out of college, my mom and my dad were producing a made-for-television movie that used to be what were called hiatus movies, where the star of a network show would have a hiatus and they'd go do a movie. So Crystal Bernard, who starred on the show Wings, showing my true Gen X bona
Chase doesn't know Wings. You don't know Wings, do you? No.
I've heard of Wings. I've heard of it. Haven't seen it.
So yeah. Well, it's anyway. She got this movie, and my mom got this movie through her company, and I got hired as my mom's assistant through the entire film, from prep, casting, through production and post. So I got to watch a project go from the very first meeting till delivery. And then my mom took me out to lunch and handed me a file. It was a Xerox of her Rolodex, all of her contacts. And she kind of slipped it across the table and she said, here you go. You now have experience, you have a credit. And if our resumes ever match again, we both fail. You're not going to be one of those kids. And I was like, okay. And I went off on my own and just never, she said, have the courage, pick up the phone and call. See, I just worked on this movie. This is what I do. And, it wasn't like some straight line to what I'm doing now. It's a 30-year journey producing radio commercials, TV commercials, independent films. I mean, you name
reality
it. Reality shows,
single camera comedy, everything. And that's what I love about you, Sam, is that there are people in this town who have only worked in certain small slivers of, the process of making something. And then there are the small group of people who have been involved in every single aspect from beginning to the end, from mouth to anus. And you are,
and I have been both.
And everything in between. And, it's a big difference when you're dealing with people. Cause I remember I met Sam, we were both at CAA. We had this, agent that we shared, and Sam and the agent introduced, Nancy and I to Sam about a project that we had. And Sam had a company. Your company was fairly new, right? We were one of the first.
You get the first. You guys were the very first project we did at that company.
What project?
It was
so great.
It was a great project called Retreat, and it was about we sold it to NBC. We ended up selling it to NBC. We wrote the script, but it never went to pilot. NBC and TBS both wanted it, and maybe in retrospect we should have gone to TBS. I don't know. That's what the agent thought.
It's funny when things. It's like any project that anybody does, but certainly in this business, you do so many over your career. You have so many plates spinning all the time for all multiple reasons. I mean, I'm a pure producer. That's all I do for a living. So I have to have multiple projects going from a business model standpoint. But then there's also the emotional component that, it's just good to have a lot going on, because if one fails, you just have other things you got to think about right away. You can't wallow too much. I learned that from putting a lot of eggs in individual baskets in my career.
Yeah, there's this philosophy that you've got to pick one and put everything into that. And what happens is if that doesn't go, it's devastating. And so
I've been that.
Yeah.
I've been that. I've been in the fetal position on the floor, just trying to spatula my face up from the one thing I put everything into not happening. And I learned that you just spend less time wallowing on the floor if you have more projects.
We Sam and I have both wept together a few times over the years. And
this business, huh? I feel like if we had gone into I don't know, marketing, I feel like there's not as much crying on the floor.
Definitely. And it's a different thing. I'm sure they have their own version of it, but
I know I shouldn't have. I'm not trying to put down.
No. But the thing is about, and this is what I'm saying about
great,
Sam. Sam wants to make stuff. I want to make stuff. Chase wants to make stuff. And that is a smaller group, surprisingly, is a smaller group of people in Hollywood. I've
always had that, even my choice of college, with Boston University was largely based, not solely based, but largely based on the fact that, not that I got in everywhere and had the pick of everywhere, but, the big film schools, certainly at the time, NYU, USC, UCLA, all these places, they required 2 years of like core curriculum before you really got into the film school part of it. And then your film school was your junior, senior year. And BU is a place where like, we give you a camera right when you show up. You're going to make something for first semester, freshman year. And I was like, I just want to make stuff. I'm so into that. And then when I got out of college and my first real job, producing, which was after, getting that awesome opportunity to work with my mom on something. And then I went and was a production assistant on another made for TV movie with someone I met on that movie, because I really did bust my ass, which everybody has to do all the time, young or old. And then I had to go back to New York because of some family, situation. And I ended up falling into, it was kind of wild. I didn't know what to do. I was kind of stuck. My father passed away and I had to go back and take care of my mom. I wanted to. I also needed taking care of. I was a 22-year-old kid. And I ended up kind of, when I managed to, get up and out to figure out what to do, I said, I'm going to try acting. Everybody always told me because I was tall and loud, you should be an actor.
And handsome.
And so I went and, that's
you got it. You still got it.
Producer levels are different. But anyway, I did study and I found out that I just wasn't that great at it, interested in it. There were people that were brilliant.
Like your wife. Your wife is very good at it.
Exactly like my wife. Just so talented that I was like, well, I don't want to compete with people that really have that gift. But I learned some valuable lessons. And then I fell into a job, literally, as a reporter at the New York Daily News. I became a crime reporter for a year. And I covered crime and community affairs in New York City for 12 months, 6 months under David Dinkins, the first 6 months under Rudy Giuliani.
Did you see any severed heads? Any severed heads?
When it was over, actually, the big decision to not do that any longer was I had seen enough dead bodies. I was like, I want to make it up for a living. I knew that. But then I got this job as a lowest level producer at an ad agency, and I produced TV commercials and radio commercials for about 3 years while I honed my skills to try to get this independent movie made that I ultimately got made that brought me out to Hollywood, into reality TV. So it tells you everything you need to know about the movie. But no, it was awesome. But when I was producing TV and radio commercials, my boss / mentor at the time was the one who instilled in my head that producing means finishing. It means delivering. It doesn't mean thinking about it. It doesn't mean developing it.
Oh, I love that.
Talking about it. It doesn't mean even shooting it. What the definition, you want to be a producer, you finish things. That's what a producer does. And so that I brought that sensibility, I think, out to Hollywood with me. That really got ingrained in me that the things that you choose to do are only real if you finish them. And so that's why I just love making stuff. And I loved working with you right out of the gate, because you guys were like, we're going to go make something.
Yeah.
We're going to get it done.
And we all were awesome. Simpatico on that. We were like, let's make something, shoot it, and use that as a pitching tool, which now is, everybody does. It's called a sizzle reel. Everybody does it. But that wasn't really happening back then. There was some of that, but I feel like the millennial generation, just to get back to what our show is sometimes is about, is I feel like, and Chase is an example of this, millennials are able to make stuff in a way that that comes naturally to them. Millennials get a really bad rep, and I don't think it's deserved. But like Chase, for example, Chase knows how to edit. Chase knows how to sing. Chase knows how to dance. Chase knows how to act. Chase knows how to improvise. Chase knows how to, you write and write. She writes.
Well, and then Chase, I turn it turn it over to you to talk a little bit. But I in doing that, and one of the things that makes you know that you're like on the older side, not the younger side of certain conversations like this. I have been a professor at an adjunct to BU out here in LA for the last
I've guest spoken for Sam. I've been a guest.
Spoken. It's great, really, such a joy. It's one of those things where after a long day of work, I get in the car and drive on the opposite direction from home to go teach this class, and I'm exhausted and I have scripts to read and shit to do, and I'm hungry. And then it's like the best 3 hours of every week, all the time. And what I have found is just what you're saying, John, is that and I guess they're Generation Z now, even, but there is so much talent. There is so much confidence in terms of what they want to express. There's a technical savvy that just is so natural and ingrained, knowing how to shoot, edit, do things, and platforms that kind of people under 30 spend a great deal of time on are designed in a way, they remind me a lot of when I was making TV commercials, of like telling a story in 30 seconds. It's not easy.
No.
You can do that. You can tell a story in 90 minutes. And so I'm with you, man. I think it's incredible. I'm just thrilled that I still get to be involved anyway with shit. So
I think it just at least for millennials, we grew up with, already having just the editing tools on our computer. So I was just for fun making movies from like a very young age. And like London, my sister isn't in the entertainment theater world, but she also like just knows how to edit, just knows how to make stuff. And I think it's just because we grew up with it.
It's amazing. And it comes so naturally. My son has Premiere Pro. He's 12. His video transition, it's incredible. He plays with the video signal to make his own like glitchy effects that he throws in.
I'm sure Gen Z is on a whole other level than millennials.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I have a group of friends back in New York that are, my oldest, bestest homies. They're all brothers, but they are all best friends. And one of my best friends has 11-year-old sons, twin boys. And 5 years ago, they were making little shorts better than things I was doing.
Right.
And you
Right.
get them. And I was like, these kids are unreal. They do these battles with special effects and costumes. And I was just like, look how they're 8 years old and they're making and editing and adding effects and music. And I'm just like, wow.
And they're not reading manuals. They're just clicking around and figuring that shit out. It's just intuitive. Sam, your experience with millennials, and through the teaching and everything, we talked about the positives. What if, for people who are younger and they're coming into the business, what are you seeing that you wish they had more of, or that they focused a little bit more, or like what are the weaknesses?
It's a good question, and like anything, I'm not a person, just my own personal approach to life. I don't paint with big broad strokes. I mean, there are 20-year-olds that are just like gazillionaires and self-starters, and I mean, like have Instagram things and followings, and are making money, and you're like, that's exceptional. Doesn't make them more mature than 20-year-olds, but there's exceptional people that are young doing all kinds of things, and then there are people that are younger that have issues and all that. But if I had to think of a broad stroke in it, I think it might be almost like Pat. But I do think that there's a courage element that needs to be developed a little bit more, because a lot of younger people, a lot of parents, helicopter parent, a lot of people, even with social media, I mean, when I was even 16, 17, 18, 19, if I wanted to spend time with a girl, I couldn't just like text her, sup, and hope that I heard something back and then, get a wink or some shit, like do it from like across town for the first week. You had to have the courage to walk up to somebody and introduce yourself.
God.
And that basic courage, not just with dating, but with going and meeting people, walking into meetings to meet with people when I wanted to get jobs in my early 20s. I think that my parents, and growing up in New York, I think maybe had a lot to do with it, because I was out on the streets a lot.
But you had to. It was the only way you could do it.
But the only way you could get what you wanted, the only way you could get into the club or talk to the person you want to talk to or get the opportunity that you want, is to walk in the door and have the courage to ask or introduce yourself. And, I don't want to say sell yourself, but at least have the courage to do stuff. And I do feel that if I had to paint with a broad stroke, a lot of millennials kind of, it's not that they expect the world to come to them, but it does lack that, like, I'm going to go do it. There's a lot of like, I hope they come find me. I hope I get picked. I'm just going to kind of do it from a little bit of a distance. And I think if I could really work on one thing with people in that generation, it would be that. It would be like, have the
Nike just do it.
Yeah, I've developed that courage.
What do you think,
muscle to go
Chase?
up,
Is he? Does that feel? What do you think
I
about
love
that?
that.
Yeah.
I think that's amazing advice. I didn't think about that. You had to have more courage. Just you couldn't text people. That
Yeah,
just
face to face is fuck. Here's how I got girls. I got super drunk, waited for the bar to close, and the last woman there who would be willing to go home with me, I would then date her for 4 years. That was because I was.
Is that courage?
No.
Well,
it was the best I could do. It was the best.
It's a different kind. Of courage.
Well, this actually is a great segue to a rapid fire question game I have for you, Sam.
Oh, Jesus.
This will tell us if you have a millennial mindset or Gen X mindset.
Ooh.
And
I don't know about this. This is a surprise, Sam.
I made these up, so I don't know. This isn't a scientific test. John, feel free to answer. Oh, yes, go ahead.
I'm saying, do I have like a time limit? Is it like a game show, or am I
just whatever comes to your head?
As I can get. I'm ready.
Okay. Do you like to talk to someone on the phone or via text?
On the phone.
Me too, phone. I hate texting. Texting sucks. The only thing texting is good for is I'm on the southeast corner.
Yeah, I mean, look, there are things that I do think texting is great for. I won't lie. I mean, again, I'm on this text chain with all my best buddies. We get to talk all day long. We don't have to like organize phone calls. If I'm somewhere,
you and I text stuff. We text football stuff.
This was a preference. I think texting is a great tool. I think there are a lot of great tools.
But you prefer a phone call. Okay, we've lost our rapid fireness.
Oh,
Here we go.
Shit.
Email or writing a handwritten letter?
I prefer email, but I know writing handwritten letters better.
Email? Nobody writes handwritten.
But email. Handwritten notes are special.
We're not dead, Chase. We have computers.
Like a thank you card. Would it be for email or letter?
A handwritten thank you card is it's powerful.
It's a nice
again, I know it's a tangent. My wife's a Southern Belle humorist, writer, all that, and so we actually do have a lot of thank you cards, and it is something I've kind of grown into understanding are good things. But email, without question.
Okay, email. Cable or Netflix?
Well, cable, just because there's 500 channels still, and Netflix is still only what's on Netflix, and there's other streamers and Disney Plus, and there's this and that. Netflix.
And he's a sports fan. He's a huge sports fan. Sam, you can't tell by how Sam is sitting, but he's about 8 feet tall and can play basketball. So he's a huge NFL Giants fan. It's been a very difficult year for Sam, but good things. I think the glass is half full with Big Blue.
When you're a Giants fan, it's like working for IBM in the 70s. You punch the clock, you show up, you hope management's good, and you just kind of keep showing up every day.
He's living vicariously through me now that the Chiefs are good after being bad for my entire life.
Yes, I am. But at the moment, cable really does is true. I am a sports junkie. It's my release from things. So I like that.
And for me, Netflix. Okay. Instagram or Facebook?
That's a great question. Instagram with the Facebook share thing.
Yes.
Oh.
That's how I roll.
Yes, that's good.
And John, I assume your answer was Facebook?
I'm Facebook, but I've been going more Instagram. I think that's you, Chase. You have you're getting me to go over there, but I still interface it through my Facebook. Like I'll go to the creator page and then do my Instagramming through my Facebook thing. Because I hate the phone. I can't type fast on the phone. I can't do it.
Do you like to do stuff on your computer or your tablet?
He doesn't have a tablet. Do you have a tablet?
No, I do. Yeah. No, my computer. I mean, I work on my laptop. I read on a tablet, but I work on my
computer.
He's a good typist. I've seen him. He can type fast on his,
Oldies or current music?
Oldies. I mean, whatever you would describe as an oldie.
Are you up with Taylor Swift?
Good question.
Did you hear her 2 albums?
I cannot say that I sat and listened to them all on my own.
Say it.
No, I cannot say that. But I am a fan of hers, and I like very much how she handles her business, and I like how she kind of deals with her stuff, and a very, very dear friend of mine, family friend who's a little younger than me, but we all grew up together, is or has been her lead guitarist for quite a while.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Can you get her on the show, Sam? Can you get her
What
as
a
guest?
gig.
Come on, we need her.
I'm not even sure I can get my buddy that plays guitar with it on the show, but I am a fan of hers. If I don't, I mean, I literally like drive around listening to the Beastie Boys all day long. Like I have like my kind of very, very simple, I got a lot of other things on my mind, and I just
I'm the same way, but it's Metallica.
Peloton or jazzercise?
Pilates.
Oh, okay. Astrology or astronomy?
Oh, that's a great question. God, I kind of dig both. I mean, that's a tough question. If I had to pick one, if I had to dig one, I'd say astronomy.
There's some crazy astronomy shit happening right now.
And it's a never ending universe, so.
Well, I mean, the last one was just meet in person or meet on Zoom.
Well, only having you on Zoom puts me in a tough position, because if I say you in person, that demeans what we're doing now. And having never met you in person, if I say that, then I'm also kind of,
Well, Sam, you are going to meet her in person, and I'll tell you why. I will say you in person, because everybody's better in person than on Zoom. It's true. 3D is so much better. We cast shadows, all kinds of stuff. And Sam, you will meet Chase, because we've been developing something. It's not ready, but something that I wanted to pass by you and see what you thought. It's pretty good. It's pretty good. I think you'll like it.
We're like Mickey D's, man. Open 24/7. Come on down.
Sam, thank you so much for doing this, dude. You're a dear friend and a great business partner, and you know so much. And I know you're busy as hell. And I really appreciate it.
Thank you so much. It really means a lot that you were on the show. You're just amazing.
Isn't he?
Thank you.
I told you.
Stop. No, but really, it was a pleasure. I love you to pieces, John, truly. And it's great to meet you, Chase, and be in this conversation. I'll come back anytime. And if you have anybody I can connect you with, let me know.
Yes. Well, awesome. Bieber for sure. And now we always end our show by asking our guests what are your plans this weekend? What are your plans? What are you doing?
Well,
in the pandemic, there's not much. I know.
I was about to say it's generally limited these days, but I guess this puts me more into the Gen X category, because it will always involve a lot of reading and listening to some jazz on vinyl. And but no, my wife and I do a lot of cooking, and it's something we like to do on the weekends. So there's a great farmers market near where we live. We'll go there Saturday and procure a lot of fresh, delicious stuff and cook up something fantastic, and watch a lot of football. And
that's what I'm doing, Sam. Wild card weekend, baby. This is a big one.
And I'm reading a really cool book right now that my brother sent me that is just very unexpected. I'm not plugging it, but it's just really fascinating, called Jewish Pirates of the Caribbean. And it turns out during the Spanish Inquisition, when Columbus kind of got sent to find the New World, he found Jamaica, and it was sort of an underground mission, really, to find Jews a place to go, because they were getting kicked out of Spain. They had to leave Spain. And a bunch of Sephardic Jewish guys who, ended up in Jamaica, kind of were the first pirates of the Caribbean.
Cool.
Even Captain Hook. And so it's just fascinating. So I like history. I like reading stuff like that. So I'll read some of that. I'll read a couple scripts. I'll watch football.
Where can everyone watch the new season of Genius when it comes out?
The new season of Genius will be available on NatGeo, on the National Geographic Network. It's Genius Aretha. Hopefully you'll see some promos about it. It's Aretha Franklin's life. Told in just a really extraordinary and exquisite way, and so I hope you enjoy it. It's really.
Does that mean it's also going to be on Disney Plus?
I am certain that it will end up on Disney Plus, as eventually. So many of all the content kind of under their umbrella does. Mm-hmm. In fact, they just announced our 4th season of Genius. Which is going to be Martin Luther King.
Oh, dude!
And it is going to premiere on Disney Plus when it's ready.
Wow.
That's so great.
But it's going to be brought to you by NatGeo, and and so it's it's really, again, it's a very, very exciting time in our business right now. You have all these new streaming services, and you have kind of, because of COVID, you have a lot of stuff that kind of didn't get through the pipeline. So there's sort of less content than ever in a weird way coming out, and there's more need than ever. And it's a very exciting time. And these streamers are remarkable, but that's what's up with Genius. Check out Genius Aretha.
Amazing.
And keep Martin Luther King in the back of your mind, as you always should every day anyway.
Exactly. And Chase, just to bring us home, what are you doing this? I know Bob is going to be like me watching football. We've established that.
I'm going to be going on hikes.
Oh, in Joshua Tree.
And I have a whole book here called California Camping.
Ooh,
So I'll
nice.
look for some hikes there.
All right. Well,
Right on.
Yeah.
Round of applause for Sam. Sam, thank you so much. We love you.
Oh, I'm beyond honored, and thank you guys again, and everybody, you guys, and everyone. Bob, stay safe, be healthy and well, and here's to continuing to have a great 21.
Damn straight.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Sam.
Bye.
Bye.
Peace.
My generation, baby.
Thank you all for listening to another episode of Generation Gab. In an effort to expand the reach of our podcast, please visit our sponsor at avgearguy.com. Whether you have old videos, photos, slides, negatives, documents, discs, or audio recordings, Gray Jones has all of the equipment to transfer it to a new media format at very competitive rates. Be sure to check out the links in the description below for all social media and podcast contact information.